Hello everyone, it's Maha. I just wanted to hop on here real quick and share with you a really sweet and cute little deck that I've just recently purchased called the Fey Tarot. It is a Lo Scarabeo deck. And you know, I didn't even know this deck existed. I recently came across it when I was watching one of Wildwood Witch's videos. She's a YouTuber that I've recently been watching and really enjoying her channel. And I just wanted to come on here and share this deck with you. I am so excited to begin working with it. It's such a sweet and wonderful, really joyful and quite enchanting, beautiful deck. It's right here, it says dream, joy, and magic, and I really feel that those three words really embody the sense that I get with this deck. This is the back. And the artists are Riccardo Minetti and Mara Agham. So it comes with a little white book, like the usual ones that Lo Scarabeo makes. So it doesn't really tell you much information about the cards, just couple of sentences and keywords. So here's the back of the cards. I love the colors in this deck, so rich and vivid. And if you watch the link that I posted in the description menu, Wildwood Witch has done a flip through of all the cards, and she's also trimmed her deck, which just looks so striking. I haven't trimmed mine yet, but I'm definitely going to, because I think it just, the images stand out so much. I've never trimmed any of my decks before, so this is going to be the first one. Very excited. This is the Justice card. I love how that feather is kind of hovering in between her hands. I get the sense of like airy Libran quality with this card. And I quite love the Temperance. The cards are not in order, so I'm just showing you the ones that I like. Well, I like all of them, but just picked a few to show you here. The Temperance is just so lovely. She's so in tune with the energies surrounding her. And I like how she's wearing, I just noticed that actually just a second ago. She's wearing these earrings that resemble the wheel. And it makes me think of the Wheel of Fortune card. And it's kind of correspondence to this card, because this is Sagittarius, astrologically, and the ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter, which corresponds to the Wheel of Fortune card for me in the system that I practice. And by the way, I'm probably going to be talking a lot of astrological language here, and that's because I'm in the midst of making my tarot and astrology series, so I'm really kind of just in the astrological tarot mode. I love the sense of perspective in some of these cards. It's very interesting. Like, this is the Tower card. And so we usually see this card as the blasted tower, kind of the tower from the top getting destroyed. But here, it's kind of hovering, you know, hovering high up. And I get this feeling of like that sense of freedom with this card. So it's very interesting. I just love how different artists depict the different cards in tarot, which is one of the reasons why I started collecting decks to begin with. This is the Seer, which is the High Priestess, and absolutely gorgeous depiction of the Hierophant. This is the Wisest, number 5 card, and I love that dragon. Just love that orange dragon, and the Hierophant is sitting on an hourglass. So cute. Beautiful. This is the Lover's card. Very sweet. Those two fairies, or that fairy, and then this branch, root man. The Hermit card. And the design, the architectural kind of design, the stairs, like a labyrinth shape with all these different viewpoints, reminds me of an artist by the name of Escher. I think it's spelled E-S-C-H-E-R. I'm going to find his name and find out how it's spelled exactly and put it in the description menu, because you might want to check him out. This card just totally reminded me of Escher, just that kind of sense of perspective. And he looks like he's just lost in this labyrinth, kind of like lost in the labyrinth of the mind, which is interesting, and an interesting take on the Hermit card. And again, I think of Virgo and its ruler Mercury representing the mind. The stars. It's called the stars, this one. I've noticed Lo Scarabeo uses the plural term in most of their decks. And if you watch the link that I've posted, Wildwood, which has written the name of the cards with a fine point Sharpie pen, like a black Sharpie pen, directly on the cards, and I love how she's done that. I might choose to do the same, although I might just leave them like without the names of the cards, because I find that reads really well intuitively. This Empress card, so gorgeous. I think it just embodies that sense of like the mother of the nation, that kind of Queen Elizabeth I. It reminds me of that, how Queen Elizabeth I used to say that the people of England were her children. And here she's embracing and nurturing this baby unicorn creature. To me, it doesn't look like it's her own blood-related baby. It's almost like that's the baby of the nation. Like she is really just embodying that mother of the nation. That's the feeling I get. And this is the Two of Pentacles. Love the colors. Just I adore his smile. So sweet. This is such an adorable deck, you guys. The Six of Chalices. Like I said, these are not in order. And I get such playful feeling with this card in particular. Like he's this little fairy, so there's only one instead of two. He's just jumping in. He's holding this egg that reminds me of one of those mini chocolate candy covered Easter eggs, and then there's a whole bunch of them down on the bottom. Love that depiction. Really beautiful drawings. Nine of Pentacles. I love that. There's the parrot sitting on her head. Reminds me of my parrot, who does that sometimes. The Moon card. Gorgeous. I just adore this Moon card. Her expression is just so intense. Like she just looks like she's so in tune with that moon energy. The light of the moon, the color of the moon resembles her skin color, and she's got her eyes closed, like she's really just tuning in to the moon, to the energy of the moon. And then she has a stick. She's holding onto the stick, and she's drawn the phases of the moon onto the earth. Isn't that gorgeous? And that's so just so lovely. I think this deck is it's one of those decks that brings a lot of emotion for me. Five of Chalices. So I love how the viewpoint of this one, I love the sense of perspective in most of these cards. It just gives you like a different take, different angle looking at each card. This one, he's sitting inside this broken glass. And then again, the shift of a different way of looking. The Eight of Chalices, she's walking away, but you can see her face. And then you can see the moon in the background, which is interesting because this card astrologically is Saturn in Pisces, and Pisces is related to the Moon card. And so this gives me a feeling that she's walking away from the patterns of the past, and the moon kind of associated with patterns, behavioral patterns, habits, and the past, and the emotions being the cups. So sweet. I love this. 10 of Wands. He's carrying a big orange that just fell off the tree. It's like his burden is this orange. It's like a gift and a burden at the same time. which I associate with this Ten of Wands card. Saturn, as I talked about in my Major Arcana Tarot Astrology video, can represent burdens. And so that's really cool how I see that here. And then this is Nine of Wands. They're safe and protected in their home. The Nine of Wands is Moon in Sagittarius, and the Moon has keywords that are associated with safety, home, protection. So I really see that there. Queen of Pentacles. That sense of balance, the sun and moon, and she's so grounded, she's sitting right down on the earth. Queen of Swords. I really love the court cards in this deck. So with this one, Queen of Swords, I get that sense of like that sharp, cold, the colors give me that sense of being like outside, air element, cold, maybe emotionally detached, yet very powerful in her expression. Queen of Chalices. I get the sense that she's really in the middle of the ocean. The bubbles look like they're inside the water. So she gives me this feeling that she's just really embodying the water elements. She's right in the middle of it. And it reminds me of the Queen of Cups from the Fountain Tarot deck, which I recently also got in a trade, which I will talk to you about in another video. Yeah, it gives me that sense of this similar sense. This is Knave of Chalices, which is a Page of Cups. Very beautiful. So soft and gentle and emotional. And the King of Chalices, so powerful. I love that look on his face. I just get this really powerful emotions energy. He's holding on to this vessel of water like he is in control of his emotions, and that vessel of water looks like it's really deep, so deep and intense. I get that, all of that with this card. Ten of Chalices, gorgeous sense of harmony inside the cup. Love the colors. The colors are just so rich. Very imaginative deck. Very imaginative artwork. The Ace of Pentacles. I also really like the aces in this deck. This is like beginning a project. And then the Ace of Cups. That offering with like cupping the water in the hands, really coming from the heart, like straight from the heart. I also really like the wands. The twos in this deck, as well as the aces. And this one, the fairy is just ready to jump out, like the baby fairy is just ready to jump out of the nest. And then the Ace of Wands, where you feel that seed just beginning to burst out, just beginning to grow. Creative, very creative. Seven of Swords, really nice. I feel like there's a sense of, well, she's transparent, so she's walking through that brick wall behind her. And I get that sense that she's invisible, or she wants to remain invisible, and whether or not she's done something wrong, she just doesn't want to be seen. And then I get that sharp sword, like cutting edge, airy quality here, and her eyes are red, which is interesting. Very interesting. A lot to read in these images. You know, even though they are whimsical and playful, they still make me feel that this deck is actually a very deep deck. There's a lot to be seen. Seven of Pentacles. It's so imaginative. Just so, yeah. Just gets the imagination going. Love that. Makes me smile. This deck makes me smile. Eight of Pentacles. She's working hard. She's got paint all over her. Like the artist really into her work. Hours and hours of hard work. And there's brushes everywhere. I know what that feels like. Three of Pentacles. which is I associate with Mars and Capricorn. And so it's hardworking Mars here. And he's carving that pentacle. It's like a kind of like a relief sculpture. He's carving. The pentacles in this deck are very artistic, very creative. Knight of Wands. How exciting is that? She's riding a parrot. So playful. And I do associate parrot energy with fire, with the element of fire. They're just so full of vitality. They're so funny. They're humorous. They always want to play. Like the Leo energy. The World card. I love that. The colors are so rich and vivid. And there's the snail carrying the world, and then it's hovering kind of in the universe. The Death card I didn't really get at first, but I really like it. She's that fairy. It looks like they're playing a game of chess, or you're playing a game of chess with that fairy, or maybe you're playing a game of chess with death and your checkmate. And it's a circular wheel, so like the game board is circular. It makes me think that the game of life is like a cycle. Oh, and then there's a wheel right there. I just noticed that. So that idea of like a cycle, like that the game of life, it's over, but then it's beginning again. And it keeps on beginning and ending and beginning and ending like a cycle. And then the wheel card, of course, that idea of the cycle. There's a spiral there. And I like how there's the spiral, and then there's an older fairy, like a grandma fairy, and then there's a younger fairy playing with the grandma. So it's like the idea of age being a process, cycle of aging. That reminds me, I saw a sign in the gym the other day that said, aging is not a disease, it is a developmental process. And I really just thought of that when I saw this. That's really interesting, that quote, by the way, and which is going to be a topic for another video. And then this card, the Ten of Swords, which I still don't really get, but I am getting, well, I ordered already on Amazon the guidebook that comes with this deck. Well, it's sold separately, and I found it for very cheap, like $5. And I'm very excited to get that book because I feel like there's a lot more to these cards. I'm really interested in knowing the stories behind these cards, because the little white book really doesn't tell you much at all. I mean, just as usual, we have a few sentences. Yeah, it doesn't tell you much. So I'm very excited to get that book, and I will share that with you. I'm sure I'll talk about this deck in the future. I'm very excited to work with it, and I just wanted to share that with you. And like I said, I'm kind of in the middle of Tarot and Astrology series, which is quite intense and involved. So I wanted to come on here and just do a little fun video and share this deck with you. See if you guys have heard of this deck. And that's it. So I hope you guys are all doing really well, and I'm sending you lots of blessings and lots of love. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.